What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the gear news for July 9th, 2025. For those of you that are new to the channel, we do gear news every Wednesday. Usually I do them pre-recorded, but we had a crazy day today, and so I didn't have a bunch of time for pre-production. So we're going to do this live. It's just faster. And there's a couple things I wanted to show you that were just kind of easier to show you live. So we've got... Actually, there's not a whole lot going on. I think with the holiday last week, there was, obviously there was a whole lot, people taking time off and stuff. So we've got an amp, and we've got a pickup, and then we've got some Amazon Prime Day deals that I wanted to share with you. Everything that we talk about today, well, most things will be linked in the description below. You'll be able to check out those links. You can use those links and they'll help out the channel if that is something that you're into. If not, that's totally fine too. And yeah, so this is pretty cool. So let me show you this first thing. And I'm actually very excited about this. When it comes to, entry level is not even the right word anymore because they've just kind of become pretty standard. But when it comes to honestly more affordable amps, the Boss Katana is kind of a staple these days. Everybody knows that, for what they cost and for what they are, they sound great. And I recommend them to a lot of people for a first guitar amp or even a good practice amp or something that you're going to take out to some, open mic nights, stuff like that. It's obviously it's not a stack of Marshalls. It's not a Kemper. It's not a, it's not a super high-end professional piece of equipment, but it's very, very good. And so I really like that thing. This is interesting. So this is the new Blackstar ID X. And when you read all of the documentation on this deal, here, hang on. I didn't show it to you. There we go. When you read all of the documentation on this thing, basically they're saying that this is the, they're calling it kind of like a response to the most popular one out there. And I think they're really kind of talking about, well, this is kind of the answer to the Katana. But what's interesting about this is different. This is a digital amp. This is a modeling amp, where the Katana is not actually a modeling amp. It's a solid state amp with digital effects. So this is an interesting deal. This is a DSP modeling amp. It's got all of the things that you would want. It's got a bunch of different profiles for different tube sets, EL84, 6v6, EL34, all that stuff. And then on top of that, there's a thing that they talk about in here, and they call it, I don't remember what they call it. They call it something like in-room or something like that. And it's some sort of technology that they are saying makes it to where this thing feels, better to play in person than a modeler, to give it sort of a more real feel at this price point, which I think is cool. I think the big one, the 100-watt one, is going to be somewhere around $500. So this is pretty cool. Of course, it's going to have all of your normal in-out stuff. It's going to have all of your impulse responses, all the stuff, all the normal digital amp stuff. But apparently one of the things I did read too is that even if we just look at this control panel right here, it seems like there's a lot there, but apparently it's pretty user-friendly and very intuitive. So I'm excited about this. I actually, I tried to buy one today, and I couldn't, I don't think they're actually out yet. Because I was going to order one today. I think that's really cool. I think this is going to be an interesting one, especially since, like I said, the Boss Katana is something that is super duper popular. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is actually something at DylanTalksTone.com. This is a huge deal. So in 2020, I guess, one of the parts for our Humbucker-sized P90, we've talked about it on live streams before, became unavailable because the part was actually used for a different industry, and that industry changed the spec on that part, and so therefore it was no longer usable in a guitar pickup. Well, I needed that part. And so with technology and 3D printing and et cetera, we have figured out a way around that missing part. And we have locally a guy that's local to me, a friend of mine, who is 3D printing this particular part that I need to make this pickup. And so and it's not a tone related part, it's a spacer that I needed. And so super cool. It's super cool. So everything's gonna basically be the same as it was. These are a pickup that they have 2 humbucker magnets underneath them, just like a regular P90. It fits in a humbucker size hole. It has screw poles, just like a P90. The only difference is it's a little bit shorter and it's not as hot. So it's going to be somewhere a little over 7K instead of 8.2 like a normal P90. So take your Strat pickup on one side and take your humbucker on the other side, and then your P90 is kind of closer to a humbucker, right? So then get the humbucker out of there, take your P90 and your Strat and put this sort of in the middle, leaned more towards a P90, if that makes sense. And then we have our other pickup, of course, which is our Enduro, which is then take that and kind of lean that more towards a Strat. So you'll have kind of levels of P90ism that you want here. If you want to go closer to a cleaner single coil, get this here Enduro that we're looking at right now. And if you want a closer to a P90, but it fits in a humbucker slot, get this guy right here. And so these are available again. This is something that's not been in our catalog for about 5 years. And I'm super glad to have brought it back. I'm really excited about it. We actually have another pickup coming out next week that you have been asking for too. So for those of you that are on Patreon and YouTube members, you probably have seen it already. I've been playing it and it's very, very good. And for those of you that are new to the Humbucker-sized P90 deal, we will put out a video very soon where you can hear, there's an old one on this page, but you'll be able to hear a newer one here coming up pretty quick. So that's pretty neato. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you today was I have linked below a bunch of the Amazon Prime Day, because it's Prime Day, right? So I've linked below a bunch of the Prime Day specials that I think are cool. Now, you can go on Amazon and you can buy a bunch of junk, right? There's just tons of it. And like lots of guitars that I don't know that I would ever recommend and cables that I wouldn't ever recommend. But here's a curated list of stuff that I have actually used or actually still own. And I'll give you a couple of notes on a couple of these things. So obviously the Positive Grid Spark Go, get one. If you don't have one, get one. $109. They're killer. They work awesome. You can actually use it as a USB interface. Headphones, whatever you want. I love it. I use mine just sitting on the couch, watching TV. What I'll do is I'll have a guitar and then plug it into the Spark Go and take one ear off like this and be able to, listen to the guitar in one ear and play, watch TV or whatever, watch a movie or whatever. It's awesome. And then these guitar wall mounts, all of these. Okay. So first of all, these two guitar things are pretty awesome. These stands, as well as these hangers, are pretty killer. Now, these hangers I actually have in my office. They're awesome. And these other hangers I actually have in my office too. The Positive Grid Spark Mini is another thing. If you don't have one of these, you should get one. They are so fun. They are so fun. We've got a bunch of videos on them. They're super fun. Then over here, this guitar stand with multiple shelves and stuff. I bought this for a trade show. We did the trade show in Nashville earlier this year, and I could put 6 guitars or something, 6 or 8 guitars actually on it. And I could put like my Kemper in the middle, and I could put an amp in the bottom, and you could put a bunch of pedals and stuff. It was really nice. It makes a really nice kind of room center for your rig, and you'll be able to have all of your gear sort of really organized. I really like it, actually. I don't have it in here right now, but we had it in here for quite a while, and I really like it. The only caution I'll give you kind of is if you have nitrocellulose guitars, you might want to put some tape or something around the, you know how some of that cheaper foam will mess around with nitrocellulose guitars. So just be careful with that. Of course, strings are cool. Lots of strings. This ThermaPro digital hygrometer is what we use here. So we have one in every room where there are guitars, so we can manage our humidity correctly in our office. And then there's the Positive Grid Spark, the big one. So that's not the new one. That's the older one, but I think it's awesome. And then there's a couple other things here we use in the shop. I don't know why that CGRB Pyrite is in there. My wife has one of those, though. It's actually good. And I actually don't know why this is in here either, because I wouldn't recommend that either. It must have got stuck on the list somehow. So anyway, there you go. There's a few things that I would recommend from the, what do you want to call it? The, oh, was I not showing you any of that? Well, here it is. I'll just show you. There it is. There it is. There's links to it in the description. This is the stand that I was telling you about. This is the hangers that I was telling you about. Of course, you know what the rest of it is, so we don't need to rehash through all that again. There will be links to all of it in the description. And that's all I know. Let's see if there's any comments or anything that came in. Awesome. Glad to see you overcame the obstacles on the P90. Yeah, dude, it was a project. And we're still, well, 3D printing is interesting. It's making me realize that, oh, there's a whole bunch of other stuff we could do too. So I'm excited to continue to explore it. I'm not doing it. I have a friend of mine who has a 3D printing shop. And so I can give him drawings or have him draw stuff and make stuff. So between that and a couple of lasers, we're going to be able to do a lot of really neat things. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you all coming and checking out the gear news. There wasn't a whole lot today, but you can check out those links in the description for the stuff that we did find. Do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button. About 65% of you who watch our channel aren't subscribed. So if you would hit that button, I would appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow night for our live stream where we answer your questions from the internets. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you.